Hi, welcome to the visual arts community for teachers just like you, elementary art teachers. I'm Sarah Rising, moderator for this group. And in this episode, we'll take a look at some weaving ideas in the classroom and how we can use some of these tips and tricks to make your job a lot easier and to make it more fun for the kids. I've included in this video lots of links to blogs and some how-to videos. So after you get done watching, and if you need to go back, you can use the link at the end of the video to come in and see the presentation. I'm going to ask you at the end to share some ideas that you're using in the classroom. So remember to subscribe so you don't miss any updates and posts and discussions or any of the fun. All right, so here we go. So when I introduce weaving to the kids, I ask them why they should care about weaving, and I just give three little brief points. The first one is it's fun. You walk out the door with a piece that you created, and it can be useful. The second thing is it is good practice for following directions. So I think weaving is a great lesson in problem-solving skills. And then the final thing that I promote is that it gives us a respect for the craft. So when we look at some things that are made in the fiber arts, we can appreciate how those artists put all the work in to do that. What I've done is I've created a weaving presentation for the kids. So if you click on this link, it will take you to the presentation. I'm not going to go through the whole presentation. You can look at it at your leisure and feel free to use it. But, I did make it in Canva, and that was from our previous webinar where I talked about technology. I think it's a great program for making catchy and catchy little presentations. So check it out. It walks through all of the vocabulary like loom and warp and weft yarns. And then it shows some weaving WAS where you can have some problems and how to fix the problems that you come across in weaving. There are other videos in there. And I've also included some advanced stitches in there for the students who want to do a little more. Sometimes I have a table use one of our Chromebooks so that they can go in here and watch these videos if they want to work on more advanced features as well. So that's that presentation. Managing the tools in the art room when you're weaving can be a full-time job. This is the first year that I splurged and purchased 200 plastic needles. I used to use a system like this with numbers on them, and that works really well. Actually, we do use that with our big needles, and it's a great way to keep track of the needles and keep the kids responsible for putting them back where they belong. I also love this handy dandy little how to thread a needle trick. I will say though, the needles I bought this year have bigger eyes in them, so it's much easier for the kids to weave. But again, things like this you can use on the computer so the kids can access them and see how to do lots of this stuff on their own. So how many of your weaving boxes, your yarn boxes look like this? Every year I try to come up with a new way of doing weaving, and I think I finally figured it out. So what I do is I've used all of these techniques and I like them all. The baskets, the shoe racks, the little containers for pulling out yarns. I still find though that the yarn pops back into the boxes and you still have a little upkeep with that. But I think the most successful is using pre-cut yarn to save time. So what I've done, and this started with COVID last year when we were weaving and we couldn't share materials. So what I did is I picked 3 or 4 colors. And then if you watch this video, you can see how I simply wrap it around. One of my students videotaped that for me and he turned it into slow motion. He thought that was really cool. But I just wrap it around my hand and I pre-set up a number of already chosen colors. And the kids seem to like that, and it keeps them, gives them more time to weave. All right, so finishing the yarn, finishing the weaving, I give the kids 3 options. So when they end a string, I tell them that they can just leave 2 or 3 inches off the side and then start their next color. And then they can finish it with a fun fringe. Or they can, after they take it off the loom, they can finish it just by snipping off the edges, and it gives it a little more tidy of a look. And then we are also using the no fringe, where we're just joining the knots and tying those weft yarns together, and then making one side of the fabric the wrong side. Also, I don't know if you notice on here, I've written over on this side, and on this side it's under. We have 7 warp yarns on this loom. So it helps the kids when they're doing the tabby stitch to remember that when they're on the right side of the loom, they come across in the over position on the warp yarn. And then when they're over on the left side of the loom with their needle, they come back in the under position. And it helps make sure that that stays on track. So these are just a few weaving ideas I've come across on the internet. I think they're really cute ideas. This, for your younger kids, using the burlap is a great first try at weaving. These I just noticed happen to be owls and birds, but you can do almost anything with them. Using the sticks and using the fringe in this one that Jenny Hamill showed with the owls on there. And then weaving on the sunshine, almost like weaving sunshine on the looms. She has taken heavy cardstock, poked the holes in it for the kids, and they practice that way as well. I think anything you can do to give them that fine motor skills practice is a good start to the big project. So here I've got 3 different links for you. Cassie Stevens talks about weaving on the paper plate in this video. In this video, this circle weaving is done, and she does a really good job explaining it. And again, this is another video that I use with the kids to watch over and over again. I will say I just finished this lesson with 2nd graders, and I think they did a really good job. You just had to go around and help each and every one of them. And then the video here, this link will show, it's a stop motion. The kids get a kick out of it. And it shows the whole process of weaving on the loom and then taking it off the loom and how you tie the warp yarns. So that's a nice resource there. So circle weaving, some tips from some other teachers. And this is not just in circle weaving, but in all weaving. Teach the kids how to tie knots first. We have a knot tying, probably another 10 minutes tying knots, because you'd be surprised how many people can't tie knots. In the circle weaving, you want to have an odd number of notches if you're using paper plates. So using a template with numbers on it, and the students can number those to help them. Have them work in pairs when they work their looms. And remind them not to pull really hard, because then when you're circle weaving, the yarn goes under the other yarn before it. And most of all, be patient. It eventually clicks, and I tell my kids that. I tell them that some of them will struggle and some of them might get frustrated, but in the end, once they've done it, it's so great to feel accomplished that you had a successful project. So I think that's one of the most important things with weaving. Loved this little idea that I came across. It was the giant popsicle sticks, and the kids can decorate those and then weave on them, which is, again, good practice for the kindergartners. I love to get them weaving the first year, just so each year they can take it up a notch. This idea I found, she showed how they make these friendship bracelets, and she pre-cuts the yarn, wraps it on the pins, on the clothespins. And again, you can see she says it's easy to store and they can pick up where they left off the next time. So that's a great project to have on hand for early finishers. I also like to tell the kids you can weave anywhere, and I just show them, just pull up some old cardboard. You can make a needle out of an old piece of cardboard. So the beautiful thing about weaving is you can do it pretty much anywhere. And then finally, this is Andrea Love. She is a animator that uses wool. She does the needle felting wool, and she makes these really cool videos. So I've included The image here is the video to that little animation. And then the other, if you click on this, it will take you to her website. And she does some really cool stuff. And the kids love to watch this. So as they're cleaning up, I show these videos as well. Well, that's it for now. So let me know what you're doing with your weaving and with your kids, what's successful, what's going well, and share that idea out in our discussion. That's it, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye.